Hey everyone, Paul here, Music Villa in Bozeman, Montana, and today, very special day. Our friend Tom Bedell has stopped by Bozeman, and it's exciting, and we get to chat and we get to talk about Breedlove Guitars. Tom Bedell, Two Old Hippies. You've got Breedlove, Weber Mandolin, Bedell Guitars. Yep. Anything else I'm missing there?
Nope, those are our three brands. Yep.
And you guys are in Bend, Oregon?
We're in Bend, Oregon.
Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, we got a workshop there that.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. Bend, Oregon, people always seem to, I don't know, they kind of relate it to like Bozeman too. Or they relate Bozeman to Bend, Oregon. So I don't know. I haven't been there yet.
I had that thought actually this morning.
Yeah.
I got up early and kind of took a ride up in the mountains.
Yeah.
And this is such a beautiful place.
Yeah. Similar towns, I've heard.
There's something special about Montana, though. Yeah. It's just really a great place.
It truly is. But don't come here. No, you can come visit, but but we're full. You know, it's been an interesting few years, and Breedlove is one of those guitars that, you know, we love them, and we've had the world changed a few years ago, and there's, you know, supply issues and all this stuff. So it's great that you're here because you've got a new line here, and I want to talk to you about the new line, and then I kind of want to get your take on, you know, how you do things in your factory. You were talking to my guys upstairs, and they're excited because, you know, you guys do a lot of innovative, new, cool stuff that other people may not be doing, and I want to hear about that. So let's talk about this new collection, because we just got them in, and they all look amazing, by the way. There's a 12-string, 6-string, there's a bass, and incredibly looking woods, colors. They look really nice. They sound amazing. So tell us about this collection, and then and as we go on, you can talk about the factory and how you guys do things. So what is this collection?
Okay, this is called the Eco Collection, and we came up with that name because these are actually manufactured at a contract factory that we work very closely with in China.
Yep.
And most companies just basically go buy guitars and put their name on them and sell them.
Yep.
And we have a workshop in Bend, Oregon, where we build 1,500 guitars a year, and have done a lot of innovation and science that we can talk about in a bit. And we've then taken that learning and applied it to our contract factory.
Yep.
Well, one of the things that we do is 100% of our woods are non-clear cut. There's not a piece of clear cut wood in any instrument, no matter whether it's a $300 guitar or a $10,000 guitar. Right. Also, we trace our wood back to the forest, and we make sure that the harvesting practices are done in a way that protects that forest and enables the sustainability. In fact, in most of the mills that we work with, we measure every 5 years. They go in to do an audit, and are there more of these trees than there were 5 years ago? Okay. So we want to be held accountable to the fact that we are actually sustaining that forest. We're not just.
That's good. I'm glad you're telling us this story because you know we talked about this, and we actually did a demo of this guitar, right, Dustin? Yeah, a few like a month ago or so, and you know, and I know that these are eco-friendly, but I don't know what that means. So it's good
and it means different things to different people, right?
Well, you hear that on a lot of things. It's like when you see an organic label or this or that on a thing, it's like, what really does that mean? Sounds like to me you guys are going deeper than most people.
Well, in today's world, authenticity is key, right? If you say you care about the environment and you care about the human habitat and you care about the earth's sustainability, you better do it.
Yeah.
And so I have actually gone to every forest where all the woods in this guitar came from myself.
Yep.
And have audited and monitored their policies, how they harvest. I've sat in the jungle and experienced the magic of all the life. You know, it's not just a tree that we're saving. It's a whole ecosystem.
Yep.
And when you go to clear cut, I was on a plane up in Alaska flying to where we get our Sitka, and you see these big areas where they've just gone in and clear cut.
Yeah.
And you see mud running down into where the salmon runs.
Yeah.
And all that life is gone.
Right.
So do those trees grow back? No.
Yeah.
Trees grow back.
Right.
But when you're not in an old growth forest and you're not competing with all the life that's around you, they grow 5 times faster. So you're not getting the same tone wood out of that new Sitka tree that replaced that old growth forest.
Yeah.
So we not only don't use clear cut, with Sitka, we don't ever cut down a live tree.
Okay.
So we only salvage fallen, blow down.
Right.
And Sitka's a unique wood. It's different than Adirondack. With Sitka, it can lay on the ground for several years and not rot.
That's good.
With Adirondack, it's really interesting. It actually, it rots from the inside while it's dying.
Oh, wow.
And so if you wait until an Adirondack has died,
It's too late.
it's not tone wood.
Okay.
Right? So the art with Adirondack is, how do you know that that tree has got about 5 years to live,
Right.
and then harvest it?
Yeah.
And do it in a way that you leave the smallest imprint on the forest possible.
Gotcha.
Right?
So if you are going to take, if a company is going to use a tree or whatever, instead of clear cutting that you're talking about, you can go in and take one at a time. You guys aren't doing that until it falls, but you're.
Well,
but
with
instead
Sitka, with our African mahogany, for example, we actually harvest trees at the end of their life cycle.
Okay.
We try to do it in a way where mahogany is it's one of the most popular tone woods, as you know.
All South American.
Probably half of your guitars up here have mahogany on it.
For sure.
We use mostly African mahogany in our lower price guitars, and we use genuine mahogany from Guatemala in our USA made guitars.
Right. So you'll see a mahogany tree. It's at the end of its life cycle, and then that one tree will come down.
When it comes down, it opens up a huge canopy, because a mahogany tree is a large tree.
Right.
If there are mahogany shoots, seedlings, right there, they grow way faster in sunlight.
I gotcha.
And so if they'll sprout right up into that vacated window, all of a sudden you might have 2 or 3 mahogany trees where you had 1.
Wow.
Then as the forest closes back in, that growth slows down. Right? Because obviously in an old growth forest, you're fighting for water and sunlight. You're competing with everything else that's in that jungle. Right?
Is it getting any better, or is stuff just still getting just clear cut in those forests? I mean, do you see hope for? Well,
of course I have hope, because that's my nature. And I believe so strongly that we as people are responsible for what we've done bad for our planet, and so we better be responsible for what we could do good.
Because there's enough trees, right? I mean, it seems like there is enough trees to do what we need to do. Is that correct? But we just need to do it responsibly.
It's very interesting. There are a lot of points of view about trees, forest sustainability, and they're all good. I mean, anything anybody does to raise awareness about the importance of plants for, well, any animal life, right? That it's absolutely critical. Unfortunately, there are so many countries where the economic benefit of that forest doesn't return to the people that live there. And so they're incentivized to go in and clear cut out an area and raise cattle or crops. It's usually terrible soil. It's not very productive. So that's a big issue that the world has to respond to. The forest that we're in every case, or we wouldn't be there, individually harvests, monitors the replenishment of the trees, and we are actually making those forests better. So when you talk about planting trees, I'm all for it. I mean, we should do everything. But if we would just get out of the way, to your point, and let Mother Nature, Mother Nature nurtures life. That's what Mother Nature is all about. And when you're in the jungle and there's all this life around, it's just incredible. And it would replenish itself if we would just get out of the way. Right?
That's true.
And so one of the things that we're really hoping for is that consumers, your customers, will start to ask the question, how is the wood harvested in that guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if they would make buying decisions based on protecting the world's forests, and not just for guitars, but for all the products they buy that have wood, that would make companies say, wow, if we want to be competitive, if we want to satisfy our consumer, our customer, we better pay attention to where the woods come from.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we're really working hard to do, raising awareness.
That's great.
Having people say, I care. It makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, it's good to understand some of that, because I didn't know quite exactly what that meant. So let's take that information. Let's talk about this series.
Okay.
What woods are on this guitar?
Okay. This guitar is called the Pursuit Exotic. It's a series of guitars that comes in 4 different sizes.
Yep.
The top of it is all solid myrtle wood.
Yep. So you guys take that from Oregon.
Yes.
And that's okay. That's native to Oregon.
It's native to Oregon, and it only grows kind of from a little bit in Northern California and then up the coast. It's along the coast. You see all the interesting grain, and you can see that each one looks a bit different. Myrtlewood is a kind of a gnarly tree, and it lives on the Pacific coast there, and so it's getting beaten by the rain and the wind and the whole environment. And as a result, every piece of myrtlewood is different because it's reacting with that very dynamic environment.
Gotcha.
Myrtlewood is a tone wood that sounds almost like a marriage of rosewood, mahogany, and maple.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is most people, when they hear rosewood, they'll say, oh, I love the bass. I love the power of that bass that it delivers.
Yeah.
With maple, they love the brighter sound and the
punchy,
kind of excitement, the energy that comes out of it. And mahogany tends to be kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
We get all 3 of those in a balance with myrtlewood. It's a really
and even
spectacular
on the
wood.
top, like, do you ever do myrtle with the spruce top, or just are you talking about even when you use myrtle on the top? Still nice.
Yeah. It's just
I love
terrific.
The look of it. It looks like a koa, or it looks like something. It's just
isn't it pretty?
Yeah, and they're just wonderful price points.
Yeah, it's a terrific price point.
It's an incredible looking guitar.
Now, do you mind if I tell you about what we've done here with the back?
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, so most guitars that retail at $1,000 or less are made with what's called laminate, and to be candid, it's plywood. Right? You take, here, let me hand you this for a second. You take thin sheets of 3 sheets, and you have one going this way, one going this way, and then the other one going this way. On the inside layer, to save money, pretty much all other companies that I'm aware of use a very soft wood because it's cheap. So it could be poplar, or it could be...
I gotcha.
The problem with that is it's not tone wood.
Right.
And when you have a soft wood and you're trying to drive frequencies through it, it dampens it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so when people say a laminate guitar doesn't sound as good as a solid wood guitar, they're correct. It doesn't sound as good if it's made that way.
Right.
So we've engineered a whole new approach. We call it integrated tone wood. So it's still the 3 layers, but the middle layer we use African mahogany, which is a beautiful, beautiful tone wood. So in the middle of the myrtlewood, so there's myrtlewood on the inside, myrtlewood on the back, and that inner layer is actually African mahogany.
Nice.
And it really changes the sound. You can compare this to previous Breedloves, or you can compare it to other companies' products, and you just immediately hear a difference.
Right. And the tops are still solid. Always.
Breedlove doesn't make a guitar without a solid top.
Yeah. So my question on that, you always see, like I said, a lot of times, a solid back versus 3, like we get, I always think about that. I'm like, well, it seems like it would just be easier to make a solid back, but wood-wise, you're still using a lot more wood with a solid back than 3 smaller plies, right?
Right.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, you're curious about the economics of that.
If it's the same thickness and you're using 3 pieces of wood versus a solid wood back, why is it more economical and more easy? Is it easier to build?
They aren't the same dimension.
Okay, they are. Yep, they're not.
So no, you get if you do laminate on a tree, you get a much bigger yield. So, for example, when you do a laminate, you can go around the tree, and you get these real thin sheets.
I gotcha.
Right?
I gotcha. Yeah.
But by doing the 3 layers, you're actually putting strength in there.
I gotcha. Yep.
It's similar
So
to...
you can make this thinner, but it's stronger than a solid wood
Exactly.
guitar. I gotcha.
The other advantage of integrated tone wood or laminate guitars is that because of those layers, humidity and temperature change is not as impacted.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good thing around here.
When you have a solid wood guitar, it's critical that you use your humidifier.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And protect it, because wood moves.
Yeah. And even on this, it would be critical because of the top, being solid. Around in our climate here, we would still humidify this guitar too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, ebony, fingerboard and bridge.
Yes.
Yep. And, we've talked about this before, but you guys have a unique bridge.
We call this our Delta Bridge.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we like it so much is that you just put the string right there through there. You don't have the pins. And I don't know what you found, but I've been in situations where I broke a string.
Yep.
I pull the pin.
It's gone.
Go to replace it. The pin's gone.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, no! What am I going to do? So you don't have that issue. It's much easier to do a string change.
Yeah.
And it sounds fantastic.
Yeah. And there's just nothing drilled into the top. So you got this thing directly on the top with no other holes.
Right.
So it's great. So that's we don't have to go too much into this collection, but I'm just excited that you told me. But what we can talk more about this if you'd like, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about the factory and how you match woods. That's another thing that we should talk about, because this collection, we just got them in. They're wonderful. This is going to be a great seller because the price points are incredible, and now knowing what you've just told us about these, that helps a lot. So tell us a little bit about the higher end American-made guitars that come through your factory.
Great.
You do a lot of cool stuff with following the wood through the factory.
Right.
So
a guitar, we talk about the top is this wood, the back is that wood. It's a system, and the woods work together to make music. And so understanding each individual piece of wood and its unique characteristics. Well, let me first get into that. The variability in wood is something that we see as our friend. Most companies ignore it. What most companies do is they set, and we used to too, just set a dimension. So we're going to make every top 110 thousandths.
Right.
We're going to make every back 90 thousandths, whatever.
Right.
And in fact, every piece of wood is different and unique, just like your kids.
Exactly.
They come from the same parents, but they're completely different personalities. Every piece of wood has its own character. So the first question that we ask is, what's the sound? What's the play style that we want to build, and what's the body shape?
Mm-hmm.
So is it going to be finger style? Is it going to be heavy strumming? Is it going to be versatile?
Right.
What's the body shape? Bigger body shape, you need a stiffer piece of wood. Smaller body shape, you need a less stiff piece of wood. So we take the piece of wood, we analyze it, and then we actually mill it. We have a program that helps us figure out what dimension do we want to mill it to.
Yep.
And then what for the top, and then for the back. And those travel together through the factory. We put the bracing on, and then we do this whole analysis again, because like the top and the back vary, the bracing material varies.
Right. For sure. I saw you at that computer one time, and it is interesting. It shows all the
frequencies,
responses.
Yep. So then we go in a room. We call it our hand voicing room, and we retest read out the frequencies, and we actually hand carve on the bracing to bring the pairing into where we want it.
Gotcha.
Then we build a guitar, finish it, take it to string up. And during that whole process, we're measuring what's the weight of this bridge, how much finish is on it. We have 35 different measure points that we do on each guitar, so that we know it's not random. How did we get that sound? Oh my God, that guitar sounds terrible.
Right.
What went wrong? We have all that data.
Yeah.
So we can look at it and determine what we need to do. So at the end, it's all done. It's at its last step. The QC guy approves it, does all the testing on it again,
Yeah.
and goes in through the sound hole and recarves on the top or the back
Okay.
to get that exact, just to fine tune it right into that
Yeah.
real sweet spot.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how
Yeah.
you change by 2 or 3 hertz.
The difference.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
You find
'cause
that sweet spot there.
Yeah. Because if you had 5 of this exact same guitar,
Right.
they're all going to be a little different. There's no way to, wood is just, it's wood.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
got
a tree,
character,
now
yeah.
it's a guitar. And
Yeah.
so it is interesting that you guys do that. I love that. And I like I said, I saw that computer, and then you write inside, right? You write, or somewhere in the guitar, you write those specs down too, like
Right.
some of the frequency stuff. I saw
Right.
it on one of the sheets. But it's interesting to see that because it does make sense. And if you can get those computer analysis of the frequencies and all that, and then go in and tweak it,
Right.
it's pretty cool.
I was telling your team earlier, we had a gentleman in California that had bought a Brazilian rosewood guitar, and he's a big deal down in California, likes to show off his guitars, and so he decided, people loved his guitar, just absolutely loved it.
Right.
So he wanted 4 more
Yep.
that were identical to that guitar.
And you can do it.
And he came
Yeah.
up to the shop.
Yeah.
And so we went through his guitar, serial number,
Yep.
went through all of those things, and then we
And
picked the wood sets, picked the tops and the
matched
backs, matched it, and we delivered him those 4 guitars.
That's
And
amazing.
they all
Yeah.
sounded the same.
Yeah.
And he goes, I can't believe you can actually do that.
That is pretty incredible.
And we can.
Yeah. That's
Because you know what happens in
Amazing.
your store, and it used to be
Yeah.
with us too. I mean, somebody would say, that's the guitar I want.
Yep.
And then your salesperson says, well, I'm sorry, somebody bought it yesterday.
Yep. Let me order you another one.
And they say, no, I want that one.
Yep.
Because the other one won't sound like that.
Yeah.
And
It's true. I'll
yeah.
have like 4 or 5 of a model, a classic model.
Yeah.
And, there's always that one. And it's like, that's the one I like. But then someone else will come in and they're like, that's the one I like. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so it really, but to be able to match it and build it again like that,
Right.
with wood is pretty incredible. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to come out because
We'd
that
love to
was
have you
another
come
thing. I
out.
was going to do that too.
Yeah.
Before all the
Yep.
all the stuff happened, I had a trip planned out there, and so I need to come out and do that and look at stuff and we'll build some guitars.
Yeah, we'd love to have you do
to our
that. It's so
specs.
much
It'd be-
fun.
Yeah,
It's so
I
much
love
fun.
that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. I would love to do it. Well,
So
Tom,
what happens
yeah.
then is with this sound optimization technology and know-how,
Yep.
we've really perfected 4 unique body shapes.
Okay.
We have a concerto, which is similar to a dreadnought.
Yep.
It's got more volume and more complex tone because it's a unique body shape that we have
Yep.
used the science to perfect. The concert, which is by far our #1 selling
Standard
model.
Yep.
The concertina, which is a 12 fret to the body, a little bit smaller
Yeah.
body, and then a companion, which is a traveler
There you go. Okay.
guitar,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So instead of just merely having different sizes, we actually have perfected different ranges for our frequency separation, different dimensions that the wood should be. And so even on this guitar, which is made at our contract factory,
Yep.
we have different specifications and different bracing patterns
Right.
for each of those body shapes
Gotcha.
and for the different kinds of wood
Yeah.
we use.
But
So
they don't
we
go
need-
through the same. They don't go through all that other.
Not
stuff, but-
individually.
Yeah.
There's no way we
Yeah,
could do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
There would be no need to.
by
Yeah.
by wood species and by body shape,
Yeah.
and in some cases by play style,
Right.
because that guitar will mostly be used, the 12 fret, the concertina,
Yeah.
it'll be used for blues or jazz or finger picking,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Concerto is probably going to be a flat picker.
Yep. Yep.
So you have different
Yeah.
approaches.
Sure. So,
Yeah.
well, Tom, I think we've covered a good amount for today.
All right.
And we are excited to have the new collection, and I'm excited that you were here to tell us, the story of Breedlove. And we could probably go on for another hour and talk more stuff, but we better stop there. I think we've kind of got to understand the line and what you guys do for the forest, and we're thankful that you guys are doing all that, and happy to have the guitars here. So thank you very much for being here. And
Could I encourage everybody to come to Music Villa in Bozeman?
Mm-hmm.
They have most of the really good brands here, and in one stop,
Yeah.
you can experience.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You can
and
see.
you can compare them, and you
Yeah.
can fall in love or out of love
Exactly.
all day long
Yep.
here with
and
the
you can
instruments. So
enjoy
this is
the mountains and the streams as well.
one of the most spectacular music stores I've been in.
Thanks. Thanks
Yeah.
for being here, Tom.
You bet, Paul.
All right. Thanks for watching.